carried that one.
Wow, that was rough down.
That's a good one.
That was good work, yes. Oh, okay.
And the word of the day.
For today,
I
distinguished
went back.
Toastmaster Joyce Vito is not showing up?
No, she's not here today.
I think she announced she wasn't going to be here today.
Right, no, she's not here. So, and Scott won't be here, but we have to have the membership take over.
Yeah.
Whoever membership's here, who's that, Dave Rhodes, who's membership? Who's public relations and membership?
David should be here.
It's your neighbor. It's your neighbor.
Who's the membership chair? Who's the membership chair?
China Jacob.
Okay, Miss Donna. Over there. There's the president.
Oh, I think since you are the next
Donna.
in leadership, you have to preside over the meeting.
We're talking it up here. These fellas, we ready to go?
Because,
That's like when the Speaker of the House
That's
becomes
right.
Speaker of the House.
Go, Tim. Just don't. This meeting is open.
Our friends are going to have
Yeah, Toastmaster. There's the master chairman. She's the master today.
Welcome this Monday morning to our weekly Toastmasters meeting. Serving as your Vice President of Education. New members, I don't even know what my role is. New membership. If everyone would rise and say Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Everybody ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to bring up our Toastmaster for today, Antoinette Mitchell.
Here we go.
All right. Are we ready today for this fantastic meeting? The theme is wearing many hats. Toastmasters wear so many hats, as you can tell. We have today on our agenda, we have the grammarian who is going to be, where's the person? Speaking of that, the grammarian and the person. Let me step over here for a minute. Nicole is going to fill in for the grammarian for us today.
Hey, here we go.
She is looking for her word of the day. She's got it. Welcome her up here, Nicole Johnson. Soon to be DTM, Adrian. Watch out.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and any honored, distinguished guests that we have here today. It is my pleasure that I provide you all with the word of the day. The word of the day is lucid. Lucid. By show of hands, how many of you all are familiar with the word lucid? Okay. I don't think everyone raised their hand who's familiar with that word. It looks like half of the people in the room, but I believe everyone is familiar. However, it is an adjective. The definition of lucid is expressed clearly, easily, or easy to understand. So easily understood, something that's easily understood or easy to understand. Also, another literary term or definition for the word lucid is bright or luminous. So the word of the day is lucid. I will be listening for the word, and I will try to catch any grammatical errors as best I can. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at that. I'll give it my best shot, though. So thank you all, and please use the word of the day. Turn it back over to Toastmasters.
I think that was a lucid grammarian word for the
Thank
day. All right. Next, is there anyone ready to give a Toastmaster minute Toastmaster Minute. It can only be 1 minute that you come to the stand, come to the lectern. Welcome, Adrian Duncan, 3-time DTM.
Hey, good morning,
All
good
right,
morning.
good morning.
The word today is lucid, right? Then the first word would be grace. I want y'all to see Grace as a beautiful young woman, light and lively. Her birthday is March the 1st, and then she has a salvation birthday, is September the 1st. Now, Grace is only going to give you 29 and a half days, and you're in trouble. However, she prefers 21 days. Most of you are only 21. Y'all didn't catch that. You got Grace of 21 days. Her birthday is March the 1st. Write it down. You got 21 days of grace. Her second birthday of salvation is September the 1st. You got 21 days of grace or salvation. Write that down. Dues have to be paid March the 1st and September the 1st. Those are your days of grace, 21 days. Madam Toastmaster, that's 1 minute or less. 1 minute or less. Wear a different hat.
Yeah.
A beautiful hat.
All right.
Red today.
Good, very good, very good.
Green tomorrow for money.
Yes, green for tomorrow for money. We are Toastmasters who wear many hats. We can come to our meeting ready to fill any role. We welcome our new members that are here. If you are new, please stand. Those that say, I'm new.
Please stand. Thank you.
Yes, all right, great. We're glad to have you aboard. And later on, you will be given a mentor, and any questions that you have, just come and ask any one of us, because we want you to be well equipped to wear different hats and be lucid.
Hey, she's got it going. Listen.
We are ready now for the topics. We started doing the table topics first. What is a table topic moment? You will have table topic session. You will have a table topic master who has already prepared some questions for each one of us. The real good learner and skill in the topic master section, table topics session is that you will learn to answer questions impromptu. How will this help you on your job? It will help you as your supervisor comes in. Or maybe you pass one of your colleagues in the hall, and they ask you a question about a presentation you're going to make, something about your job. You will be very well equipped to answer that because you are a member of Health Masters Toastmasters Club, and you get the experience in answering questions that are given to you at the spur of the moment. Let's welcome to the lectern, Dave Rodney.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for the thunderous applause. We don't need to stand behind that lectern. It's a barrier between us and the audience. Doesn't this feel better? You guys like me to, John are looking at me, Dave, don't come any closer. All right, so I'd like you, if you're called on, to please talk for a minute. Let's not do this 5-second table topic responses, right? Let's talk for a minute. And if you're in a contest, you need to talk for at least a minute, or otherwise you're disqualified. But don't go more than 2.5 minutes. So the first question, tell us the last time you tried something new. The last time you tried something new. Toastmaster Mukasa.
Toastmaster Dave, what a surprise! I've been around for some decades, and I've tried many new things and failed. Wish I could give you something that still rings in my life today. I tried Toastmasters. To get to the issue of leadership, speech, conviction, lucid speeches. My challenge is I deal with TB every day and everybody is ignoring it. The patients are ignoring it. The clinicians are ignoring it. The policymakers are ignoring it. I do the numbers, and the numbers don't make sense. So I tried to Toastmasters to improve my communication and make the case for TB control and real deal for TB elimination in Arkansas, in the United States, and the world over. We shouldn't have TB in this world, period. It's preventable, it's treatable. So I'm here to sharpen my words, my lucid speeches, to whoever can listen and get this disaster to an end. Toastmaster Dev.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mikasa. Next question. What do you think is most important enough for us to go to war over? What do you think is important enough to go to war over? Monique.
Well, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
What is important enough to go to war over?
I think what's important enough to go to war over is human life. When there, I don't know, when there's injustice and things are being done that is cruel to, humanity, that's worth going to war over to protect people in different societies that they live in, and for the well-being of, the human race. That's worth going to war over, I believe.
Monique, thank you. And by the way, please keep talking until you see the green light come on, because our timer, our Johnny on the spot timer, will have the green light and he'll hold it up for you, and you'll know when it's okay to stop talking. So the next question. What do you all think of this topic? Questions so far? Pretty interesting, right? So tell us, what is your most prized possession? What is your most prized possession? Brittany.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lee. My most prized possession, I would say life. I'm supposed to talk for how long? 1 minute. Okay. About life. So life is your most prized possession, or it is mine. It's my most prized possession. I just think that, okay, I don't know, I'm going blank right now. It's my most prized possession because, without life you have nothing, so you want to try to make the best of what you have and try to make it the best life you can be. Quality of life is very important. So you can be alive and your body, your organs are functioning, but in terms of having quality of life, so having good health, having meaningful relationships, enjoying the time that you have. I think a lot of times we get so caught up in worldly things and work and perceived obligations to other people and things like that, and I just think that having quality of life and being able to enjoy life and meaningful relationships is my most prized possession. A lot of people can't say that they have that.
And we actually only have 2 speakers, so we can have a couple extra table topics, right? Adrian, you're excited about that? I know you're excited. You're excited. You might be called on next. You don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. So tell us, what does the American dream mean to you? Camille.
Hello, everyone. I'm nervous. The American dream to me is just the basic desires that most people have. They want to have a home, hopefully an amount of education, some type of career and occupation that would make them have a life where they can not worry about the basics, necessities of clothing and food like that, and hopefully have enough money to be able to do some things that they would like to do too, hopefully help others. I think part of the American dream was that each generation would do a little better than the one before them. I don't think that's working out so much now, but that was basically what the American dream was to me. I achieved that, I don't know. I don't have a bad life, but I think my parents, based on where they started to where they are now, they probably have done better than people. Thank you.
Great job. Excellent. I think everyone's talked for at least a minute so far. Our next question is, what is your favorite place on earth? Brandy.
Could have stayed in my seat. But my name is Brandy. My favorite place on earth is New Orleans, Louisiana. And let me tell you why that's my favorite place on earth. They have the best food. I'm originally from Florida. I wasn't born in Florida, but I was raised there most of my life in Florida. And I believe New Orleans is the only one that have the closest food to Florida. Maybe even a little bit better than Florida. But I love seafood, love seafood. I eat snow crabs. I eat garlic crabs. I eat crawfish. I eat all of that. Even I was home on vacation last week. I think I ate crabs 4 days out of the 7 days that I was there. So that's why I love New Orleans. I just like the atmosphere. I don't know if y'all know how New Orleans individuals talk, but I love their accent. I love everything about New Orleans. I mean, the atmosphere is just great. I love the shopping. Most importantly, the seafood, which is the best thing. And let me tell you about the best dish that they have is crabs. You know, you put your seafood boil in there, your oysters, your potatoes, your corn, and some garlic. It is thebomb.com. So look it up. New Orleans is my favorite place because of seafood. I love New Orleans. I can go to New Orleans every year. I've been, I would say, about 8 times. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll have one more question. Can you tell us, is stealing to feed a starving child wrong? We'll call on, I'm sorry, what was your name? Shauna. Shauna.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Stealing to feed a starving child wrong? Yes, but I feel that some things would explain that that's wrong, it's stealing, but I would rather steal than to let a child starve. It is wrong, it's morally wrong, it's legally wrong, but I feel that it would be spiritually wrong for me to allow it. Wouldn't feel right in my spirit. Child starved knowing there was something I could have done to help. No one should steal if they're able not to steal and if they have means to provide for themselves, for their children, without stealing. However, again, as I said, I think it's wrong to allow people to starve and to perish unnecessarily. Thank you.
Excellent job. Excellent. Congratulations. Everyone talked for at least a minute. Excellent work. You did fantastic. And that concludes our topics. And now we'll turn control to our Toastmaster today, Antoinette Mitchell.
All right. Fantastic job. Give yourselves a hand. Well, we are ready for the prepared speeches now that we have. Each one that come to this lectern will give a prepared speech from a manual. I know the new ones that are coming on are waiting for your manual so you can get started. This speech is going to come from Jana Jones, and it is called Gun Violence. And it will be for a timing of 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes most of the time. Let's give Toastmaster Jana a big hand. All right. Yes, yes. Let's get started here.
Thank you. I'm Jonna Jacobs. Recently changed my name from Jones. Today I'm sort of using you as guinea pigs for a presentation that I have due on Wednesday in my Epidemiology of Chronic Disease class. So this is a condensed version of what I'll be presenting for about 15 to 20 minutes then. But what I wanted to look at is gun violence from a chronic disease perspective. The difference between chronic and infectious disease is that a chronic disease is generally multifactorial, meaning there's not just one cause. It occurs over a long period of time. It's not sporadic, meaning that it doesn't come and go. And for that reason, I feel like gun violence, particularly in the U.S., is reaching epidemic and chronic proportions. A little bit of background. There are about 33,000 people every year in the United States that are killed by firearms. To put that in perspective, domestic gun deaths since 1968, just since the President Kennedy assassination, in those years, which is, I happen to know for no reason, about 46 years, that's more than in every U.S. war since the Revolutionary War. Those are deaths on our soil by our citizens through firearms. Now, there has been a consensus, especially in the public health community, that gun violence is a public health issue and that it needs to be researched more. However, that has not really been possible in the last 2 decades. Gun control, the Second Amendment, have become so highly politicized that at one point in the 90s, Congress declared that CDC funding could not be used to advocate for gun control. Now, one thing I'll say about that is that research into firearm and firearm-related violence, any findings could be viewed as advocating for gun control. So it became a taboo subject in the world of trying to get federal funds to study gun-related violence. And it effectively blocked any federal funding for research. To try to study gun violence as an epidemiological, as having epidemiological patterns or risk factors, anything that could help us understand and prevent gun violence as we would any other chronic or infectious disease that affects a large portion of our public. So where is this data gap? What is it that we want to be able to research that we can't without federal funding? We want to know the impact of specific gun laws. Lately, especially in our recent legislative session here in Arkansas, we talked about open carry laws. We talk about gun shows, sales of guns at gun shows and online sales. But we don't have the ability to really study whether or not those specific gun laws or any specific gun control laws are having any effect on injury patterns, deaths, whether it's unintentional or intentional, or if these gun control laws have actually made the problem worse. We don't know the specifics of that. We also always talk about we need gun control laws to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, but we don't really know how they get in the hands of criminals because we don't have the funding at the government level to study that. Are they getting them through black market sales or background checks that aren't effective? Are they stealing them and they're not being reported? And then, of course, there's the psychology of gun violence. What makes someone decide to pick up a firearm and hurt someone else or kill someone else? Here's some quick epidemiological patterns that we are able to find from statistics that are out there. And what we see are that firearm-related homicides are declining overall, as are non-fatal firearm. But if you look at this graph, what you can see is that while they're declining, homicides tend to be in the 18 to 34-year-old category, but non-fatal injuries trend towards as young as 12 years old. And that's the youngest that they even study for this. And that's troubling. We also see here that the incident rate per population, per 100,000 people, is declining. But we can also see that there's a disproportionate amount of African Americans that are both the perpetrators and the victims of gun violence, and that also there's a disproportionate number of males that are involved in gun violence. Just to put this one last point in perspective, while I say that gun violence is declining, it's overall the incidents are declining, but there is a steady uptick. And we can see here that the rate of motor vehicle crashes is definitely declining due to things like safety mechanisms that are mandated to be in vehicles. You can see a sharp decline there. So we really need to figure out what we're going to do to try to help our government understand that we need funds to study gun violence. And we have seen lately, as the result, unfortunately, of many mass shootings, the AMA, the American Medical Association, has come out again and said, we need to study this as a public health issue. It's gotten to epidemic proportions and we need to study this. So that would be, I'm hoping just to inform you about that and maybe change your minds. And I appreciate you listening to me and being my guinea pig for Wednesday. Really hope I work out some of these kinks by then. This was terrible. But thank you very much.
Good job.
Very lucid, very lucid. We have another speaker coming up. Uh-oh, let me put on my other hat. We as Toastmasters wear so many hats sometimes, they start falling off, don't they? We can do it. We can wear those different hats as Toastmasters. The next speaker, speaker number 2, is Adrian Duncan. Adrian Duncan is going to speak about how, he's coming from the How to Say It manual. And I'm going to let him introduce this speech about how to say it. Come on down, Adrian Duncan.
Madam Toastmaster, it's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. Glorious day.
Yes. Most lucid. Do any of you have change in your pocket? Some gold, some silver, some copper? Change is a big thing when you have a job. Most people don't have a job. Tell me it's more difficult to get a job when they're not lucid, because they're not bright in some arena. Therefore, they may not have that option of getting a job in arena that they like. Well, I went to Florida, and I did my best to get a job, and I got one in an orange factory, and they told me, you're fired. I said, fired? I've never been fired in my life. I'm 51 years young. What do you mean fired? Well, they said, you can't concentrate. Well, since you can't concentrate, I must not be very lucid. I then decided to pick up a piece of gold and put it in a new platter. Because in a new platter, my young friend Michael Moore, if any of you know Michael Moore, he's a plumber. and he has some jokes to tell you about plumbing, which I can't describe and won't repeat. However, I went to work for Michael for a while. He had Any More Plumbing. And he was first in the book in Hot Springs. When people looked up in the phone book for an opportunity to clean up their house and clean up their mess, they called Any More, and they said, "Hello, Mr. Any." No, it was Annie. Any, he said, "What can you do for us?" He said, "What is your situation?" They explained to him. Well, I couldn't keep that job because when I went to work for him, the first problem I had was by the time the day was ended, I was too drained to concentrate. And that's being lucid, let me tell you. I just decided to contact Dave Rudney. Dave Rudney told me that he had a fashion shop. He owned a suit place. Well, I told him that individuals that was small like him didn't suit me because I was too little. His suits didn't fit me, and they didn't suit my appetite. So I had to change and find another job. I went down to find out how to find copper. Anybody know the value of copper? How much per pound? It was $2.75 a pound. And those of you that would go to these abandoned homes and houses, all you had to do is crawl under the floor and drag out at least 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet of copper. Now that's lucid, because it doesn't take very long till you've got a stack of money in your pocket. Unless you're not too lucid and they realize that you have stolen it, then you might not be too bright. The most important part of my jobs, though, is I changed jobs. I went to the zoo. Has anybody been to the zoo lately? Then, okay, good. Then you may have visited New York, because New York now has a brand new baby. Anybody know about new babies? It's a new baby giraffe. And I got a job I thought I could handle because I was good at feeding animals because I was born and raised on a farm. Well, let me tell you, when I went to feed the giraffes, I couldn't do it. Anyone in the room know why? I was not lucid, and I could not get that high. I went to change jobs again, and I went to see someone named Antoinette. Anybody know Antoinette? She has a shoe shop downtown Little Rock, North Little Rock combination that y'all cannot imagine. Now, most people in the summertime, they love shoes, especially for Mother's Day. Has anybody bought shoes for Mother's Day? My friends tried to buy shoes for their Mother's Day gift. Well, I went in trying to help someone named Joyce Scott. Anybody know Joyce Scott? I went in and I told the person, I said, "Well, I know Joyce pretty well, and I think her shoe size is size 8. Well, I'll tell you what, the shoe didn't fit. So I lost my job. That was not lucid. Because when you're unemployed, thank you, when you're unemployed for 6 months, a year, year and a half, 2 years, you may need to make a change. You may want to start studying how to become lucid in order to be aware of what the needs are in the job opportunities. I started out and looking for a job, and someone told me that I was good at marketing because I, as a young person, sold hogs and cows, sheep, goats, chickens, eggs. I was good at that. When I got out of college, they told me the first thing you need to do is look at marketing. I said, "Oh, I can do that." I knew exactly what to do. 5 minutes. The problem was I didn't know I was marketing people for jobs. I thought I was marketing hogs, cows, sheep, goats, chickens, and eggs. And they said, "Oh, no, you can't do that." Then what did I have to do, y'all? I had to change and start marketing with pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. I had to change from copper alloys, which is nickel, and I had to change from that little bit of coins on my platter to solid gold. And that's what I decided to do. And I've helped young people like, anyone in here, have you, any in this office, in this Toastmaster group, have any of you been to my office? I have. Oh, one. Let me tell you, I have 3 people that I just studied this past month, last month, has now moved to the head of their department by helping them realize marketing can be the most lucid opportunity that life has to offer. I double dog dare you to check out pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters and change it from those copper coins, alloyed, etc., to solid gold. Now look at that platter and see how smooth it is to change from one job to another when you are lucid and aware of your opportunities. Madam Toastmaster, does that look all right?
That was very lucid.
They said it couldn't be done.
It couldn't be done.
Good job.
But you did it. You did it. We are ready to go to the next segment of the club meeting today, and that session is going to be evaluation. Evaluating all of us, basically, that stood up and said something. We have 2 evaluators today. The first evaluator is going to be Evaluator Leonard, and by the way, Toastmaster Leonard is going to be the one of the 5 or 6 evaluators in the district contest this coming Saturday. Yes. So get ready, new members. That could be you next year. You will have so much experience. It's the best experience ever. Toastmaster let me introduce David also. Toastmaster David has won one of the evaluation contests at the district. And if he can do it, you watch him. You watch these people experience. You can do it too. Just put your mind to it, and then you'll be able to wear these different hats from one club to another. Now we're ready for Toastmaster Leonard to come up and give his evaluation of Jana.
Thank you very much. Hello, Toastmasters. Sister Jana. Gun violence should be a public health issue. I liked your speech. I relate directly to it. Going back to 1992, when I was doing my master in public health at Johns Hopkins, and the debate was on at the time, talking about chronic diseases, yes, infectious diseases, yes. The argument was gun violence should fit in that model. So I really relate directly to that issue. I like that opening statement that we can mitigate this violence using public health methods. You built your story, you gave good data, examples. What I would have liked to see is a personal story to this. Maybe one close to you. Maybe one I have read about in Arkansas, in our own city, in Little Rock. And I would have liked to see you promote a champion for gun control, whether at the state level, or national level. So there was that emotion that I would have liked to see you bring out. What I liked as well, though, was the comparison when making the case why it is gun violence could be mitigated through public health means. You said, let's look at motor vehicle crashes. We studied them, we know risk factors, and for sure we know what to do, hit a seat belt, or signage on the roads, or alcohol limitations. You made that case very well. And you can try and convince us that this thing we should study too. It's not just in the political arena. I would have liked also some strength in the finishing line, calling us to action. How did we vote, for example? What is our opinion? What is our opinion here at Toastmasters? And there are strong opinions out there. But you really touched on a subject that is quite dear to us, whatever perspective we hold at the political level. I look forward to more arguments for change.
All right, good job, good job. The next evaluator will be Nicole Johnson, and she is evaluating Adrian Duncan. Let's give her a hand for Toastmaster Nicole, the soon next to be DTM
Thank
Toastmaster.
you. Greetings again, fellow Toastmasters. It is my distinct honor to evaluate Distinguished Toastmaster Adrian Duncan on his speech on change with grace. Distinguished Toastmaster Adrian, I would say that in your speech of change, you wore many hats. You started out in Florida. You couldn't keep your concentration. You went to the plumber job. It worked you so much that you were exhausted that you couldn't concentrate anymore. So that didn't help your concentration, and you just went on, and you got down to marketing, which you said can be one of the most lucid opportunities for helping you in life. And I would say that your speech helped us to see that change is inevitable, that we have to be able to roll with the punches in life. And it kind of reminds me of a story that a book called Who Moved My Cheese? So sometimes things will happen in life, and so you just have to kind of roll with the punches, have a good attitude about it, and keep going, I guess, until you find your niche. In terms of improvement, I would say perhaps you could let us know what part of the book, if you're coming from one of the manuals, let us know what part of the manual so we can see what area to focus more on in terms of critiquing. That's one thing I would say that could help. However, I was able to follow along with your story. It was rather interesting. It did hold my attention, and I look forward to hearing more speeches from you in the future. Thank you. Okay, I was told to give the grammarian's report, and in terms of the word for the day was lucid, and quite a few people did use the word of the day. Toastmaster Leonard used the word of the day. Toastmaster Duncan, I believe you used the word most of the time for today. And Toastmaster Antoinette also used the word of the day. In terms of grammatical errors, I didn't catch anything. I'm working on my listening skills. Toastmasters is a great place to work on that. So if there were any grammatical errors, I can't say that I noticed any. But it was my pleasure to serve as grammarian as well. Thank you all.
Orange hat to go with the.
I'll take it.
To go with Adrian's his speech.
Thank you.
The next two reports are going to be very important for us. The R counter, how many times did we say R, or how many times we did not say R. Perhaps we have improved on our R's sometimes. The timers report is very important to the Toastmaster meeting because it keeps us on time, and it tells us how many minutes we've spoken for each session. Let's call down now Toastmaster Brandy. Come on, soon to be DTM. Watch out, Toastmaster Duncan. A bunch of us are coming behind you.
All right, thank you. For the off counter report, so you know how many errors we had today, and 2 times, 13 times, 2 times, so 11 times, and 1 you know. So at our next meeting, we need to improve on our use of clutch words. I know my favorite word is so, as you know. So just making sure we do better, because we did okay. Wasn't too bad. Thank you.
for that wonderful report. Let me give you one of these beach hats. You can stroll down the beach with that one. Next will be the Thomas report, and that is coming from Toastmaster past Governor Dave. All
Wow,
right.
I didn't even know I was a past governor, but hey, that sounds good. I like it. It sounds good. I was here on Saturday in this room, and there was one of the speakers came in. We had a special event, and he spoke for maybe 15 minutes about Healthy Active Arkansas. Ken Ridgway was there, and I think I counted the Oz. I think he said Oz 78 times. Because I just kept crossing. I'm like, my goodness, this guy needs Toastmasters. And he's real involved with marketing. That's especially marketing, communication. He's a nice guy, but he needs to work on crispening that message. Let's crispening. You like that? That's an invented word. It's like lucid. It could be the word of the day next week. For table topics, Toastmaster Mikasa, 1 minute 43 seconds. Monique, it says down here, I blame you, Dr. Mikasa, for saying 30 seconds. I thought that Monique talked for a minute, but it could be a timer malfunction. We'll say she talked for a minute. Brittany, 1 minute 16 seconds. Camille, 1 minute 6 seconds. Brandy, 1 minute 22 seconds. Shauna, 1 minute 5 seconds. Of course, there's no blame. I'm pointing 4 fingers back at myself. No blame. All in good fun. For our speaking portion of the meeting, Jonna, 7 minutes 40 seconds, and our second speaker, Distinguished Toastmaster Duncan, 6 minutes 16 seconds. For the evaluations, Toastmaster Mikasa evaluated Toastmaster Jacob's speech for 3 minutes 8 seconds, and Toastmaster Johnson evaluated Distinguished Toastmaster Duncan's speech for 1 minute 56 seconds. The grammarian report, Toastmaster Nicole gave us that report for 38 seconds, and Toastmaster Brandy gave us the odd counter report for 43 seconds, and that concludes the timer's report. Other than, how long did I talk for? 1 minute 53 seconds, and it looks like we're actually 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Madam General Evaluator.
Very good. Thank you. As the general evaluator, it is my position, it's my time to tell you about how the meeting ran. You're supposed to give something informative, something positive, and something to improve on, the same as the evaluation for, or you may want to call it feedback, for the speeches. So what went well today? I say that we were quickly in place. We started on time. What I really enjoyed is that the next layer of the club officers took the stand and opened up the meeting for us, brought the meeting to order. And that is Jonna Jacobs. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Jonna. She's thinking like, what did I do? What did I do? You made the biggest step as a club officer, your first time to come up here and open up. We watched the different Toastmasters come to the lectern and do the different parts, but there will be a day, be ready, it will be your turn. You will be here. You will be in front of all of the other district clubs. I'm waiting for it. I want to see that. What did we do? What else did we do that was good today? I believe we had smiling faces in the audience, which means it was a very good meeting. Did we kind of, trip over some things? Yes, we did. But we learned from that, and we would apply that learning when we go out that door into our offices and into our communities. Learn and apply is what this club meeting is about as Toastmasters. What I would like to improve on is basically standing here, getting comfortable, knowing what to say before you say it. Don't talk too fast. Don't get in a hurry. Think about, stop and think. Most people pause. The experts pause when they come to the microphone. The other thing, can we stand outside of the microphone? Can we go, take the hand mic and move around like Toastmaster David did? What else can we improve on? Say with me, sign up. Sign up for Rose early. Because we have enough time to look at the May schedule, we can just bless we can bless Joyce Biddle's socks off when she gets here and look at that sign-up list. What is it that you want to do next week? Do you want to be a Toastmaster? What is it you want to do? And spread your wings that you can get out and learn more. I want to come up here. I want to speak more. Of course, I have 3 other clubs that I can speak from and learn more than I've ever learned before. Overall, good meeting. We did it. We wore all these different hats and did a great job. Now I'm going to turn it back over to our presiding officer, Jonna Jones. Oh, that's what happens when you have too many hats. They fall off.
I was very proud today of our new members for taking up the challenge to speak on the table topics. I stand here as a member. I still consider myself a novice. I've been here a little over a year. I have the quintessential textbook fear of public speaking, which is one of the reasons why I came here. I hope you have learned from me today that it doesn't immediately go away, and you will still stammer and stumble and work your way through these things, but this is truly an environment where no one is going to judge you for that. They'll offer you acceptance and positive feedback. No one's going to, except for that bell, which I hate. That's the only thing, and the ring. I'm coming to hate Adrian's ring very much, too. But I'm really excited to see so many new members here, and I really would say please keep coming. It gets easier. That first icebreaker speech is going to be nerve-wracking. I did my icebreaker speech on being nervous, and that was somewhat helpful. I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate that everyone filled in where necessary when attendance is low or our agenda gets a little out of whack. Do we have any new business for the club?
Let those individuals that's here please introduce themselves so we can hear their voices, please.
Would our new members mind introducing yourselves one more time?
What do you work in? What area? Let us hear your voices, please.
Brittany? I'm sorry, go ahead. Shauna.
I am Shauna Meadows. I work at Synodic City, Supervisor. I've been here since December. I am administrative.
Yes.
My name is Camille, and I've been here since February, and I work in the cancer
Nice to meet you.
My name is Monique Mananu. I work in Week over at Freeway. I've been with the state for about 14 years, and I've been back at the health department since August of last year.
Fantastic. Great. Brittany Lee.
My name is Brittany Lee, and I work with the Trauma Registry.
How do you like it, Brittany? Do you have anything else to say about that, or any particular people you like working with? Oh, I'm so flattered. I'm so flattered.
That surprised her. I knew she was so surprised.
If there's no other new business,
Don't forget about Vicksburg. We're all going to Vicksburg this Friday and Saturday. All of Arkansas. All of Arkansas. All of
Friday night.
Against 2 states, Tennessee and Mississippi.
oh,
We'll have Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee, and Arkansas, and he's one of those 4, and he's going to the top. Y'all need to support this guy, 4 states, and he's one of the 4.
we know you can do it, Leonard. You got it. If we're not there with you physically, we'll be thinking of you spiritually and sending you positive thoughts.
Like listen to it, right? How about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe you can conference us in when you're there. I don't know if we'll be able to
someone
Or
can do
a Skype or
Facebook
something.
Live.
Yeah, do a Facebook
We'll
Live.
let
Oh, that'd be good.
Are you gonna be there? Are you going to be in Pittsburgh?
No, I will not, unfortunately.
That would be great. We all watch, we gather around.
Periscope would be even better.
Watch party.
Periscope.
Wouldn't it be comforting to know we're all watching you from afar?
Elections are
That would
coming
be a
up.
good time to go mushroom, everybody can mushroom.
Officer elections are also coming up soon, I've been reminded. If there's,
Big tray you, so take care of mine now.
okay.
By the way, can I mention something? Do you all have any gold nuggets to share with Dr. Picasso? Because he is going to be competing with content. Anything, maybe the new members might not have anything yet to share, but Nicole, anyone else, or Adrian,
The one
because
thing you want to watch is the
give
opening,
tips.
do the opening, watch the opening, and then the body, how smooth it is, and the closing. Watch the light. No matter what you say, if that yellow light comes on, make one statement and sit down. Because what we have seen over the past many years, even at the district level, they don't watch the light. They go over 1 second, they have lost. No matter how great they are. We've seen them going up to international. We've seen them with 1 second go over time, and they've lost.
Thank you very much. I didn't know that right.
Watch the- thank you.
Also, be
Yes.
sure to use
Yes.
your opening. And we didn't do that today. Madam Topic, Madam, what is it? Give it to me.
Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Be sure you do that, because although they don't count a lot on grammar, that 1 point can determine whether or not you win. We've seen 5 of them at the district level be within a half a point of that person. So they'll put 1.5, 1.2, 5.1, and half of a point. I've seen them divided 5 at the district. I've been doing this only 30 years. Y'all can keep that in mind, but it's very important to pay attention to just the very minimal, the opening, the body, the closing, but watch the light, because that's where most people have lost their international opportunities. Is that right, Nathan?
That's right. But we have one in here who was the pioneer, is the pioneer, the past president of this club, and it is Dave Rutney. He did it. I was there and watched him.
Actually, I forgot. I didn't say fellow Toastmasters. I forgot to say that. But I still
Did
want
you?
to. That was good. I did forget to say that. I forgot. But I did find that some humor is good. You know how I opened it. I said something funny. I said something. I can't remember. A speaker was talking about some kind of big tree or something. She gave a speech about it, and I said something like, I forget her name. I don't remember her name, but I said, our speaker talked about fig trees, and I think I have eaten figs 3 times, something like this, like the first time, the last time, and everything. Everyone started laughing, and everybody was funny, and so when you start off something kind of funny, immediately the audience relaxes, and then you kind of connect with them. So in a way, I'm not saying enforce it, but if you can maybe think ahead of something, you might, because sometimes you can actually, I kind of knew what I was going to say before I even heard the speaker. I kind of knew in my head an outline. And you can kind of think about an outline and maybe even have some quotes and jokes or something you can kind of just short go in. So people are like, oh, you can't prepare. No, you can't. Short and simple, well ahead of time. Any thoughts you have? Nicole's competed in contests. You won another contest.
Dave, you're the ultimate.
I think the only other thing is to have a roadmap. Because here's how I said, when I evaluate a speaker, I want to look at if the speaker made us tall. And tall is an acronym. Did the speaker make us think, act, laugh, and learn? Think, act. And then I look at each of the components so that the audience knew, well, geez, Dave's going to look at how he made us think and act and laugh and learn. Versus all the other evaluators who said, oh, let me evaluate this person. You didn't know where they were going. We have a roadmap.
Something different.
It was different. No one else did that. And the other thing, I didn't use any notes either. I just got up and I knew, because I did the tall. That was my road. So if they have an acronym, you don't even need it. You just get up. You don't have any notes.
You can't use your
You can use
You
notes.
can, but it's not to your advantage if you
But
use notes.
because the reason you don't want to use, or you can use notes, but you use bullet points. Because if you read the notes, it's not good. Because then you have the audience, then you have all connection. And that's why people like that when you're looking at them in the eye. And you don't have to be perfect.
You feel comfortable. They see the
So that's what I recommend. Roadmap, look at people in the eye, and maybe have some humor if possible. I think ahead of time.
And be aware of the clock.
Watch
Yeah,
that
watch
clock.
that
No
clock.
matter whatever they clock, because that's when you lose. Because the other people, we had 4 people in a contest, all 4 of them lost. 3 minutes, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. All 4 of them lost because they went over 1 second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay. I gotta go, yeah. Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you. Just a reminder, we have officer nominations and elections coming up. If you are interested in a role, please speak with an officer about maybe getting yourself nominated. We started on time and we ended on time. Thank you.
Next week, go ahead and sign up now. You can do that. Do you? Do you want to do that? You all can keep it with you. It's a pleasure for you to do that. What color would you like to have? It's really not thank you. You're more of a cap. I am more of a baseball. Thank you.
Thank you for my love. I enjoyed your speech. That was good. I studied volume. You know,
You're going to work it out. You're going to be so confident and believing. We want you to that's what it was. You were number one.
Have them watch you live. Maybe we'll get Donald Trump to watch you.
he did a great evaluation.
Probably should try maybe.
That's what's going on.